let's say while loop. The syntax for while is you need to keep while, then the condition, what condition you want to do. Then here you start writing your statements, whatever you want to write. That is how the while loop syntax works. So in the for loop, you are actually going through sorry, you are going through a iterable object. One second. Wherein in while loop, there is no concept of iterating. Here the concept is until what? Until some condition becomes false. I am starting with some condition. Whenever it is true, I execute everything under my while loop. When it becomes false, my loop will not execute anymore. So while this condition is true, execute this. Now let's see something. Okay, now let's say I have my I equal to 0. Okay, so what I want to do, while my I is less than 10, I want to execute my loop. So what I'm doing, I'm just printing I. So it comes, it checks, okay, 0 less than 10. It is true, right? It will print. That is how it happens. So when the loop will end, when this condition becomes false. Let's execute. Sorry. You see the movie scene is going again because this is always true. This is never becoming false. Let me stop this. So now, instead of just printing what I'm doing, right? After every loop, I'm just adding one number to my I. So first loop, I becomes 1. Second loop, I becomes 2. That's how I'm increasing in every loop. So after certain loops, this will become false. You see now loop is ended. It started at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 9. So when I became 10, it comes here 10 less than 10. That is false. The loop stops. You can even have multiple conditions if you want. And or let's say r I what would I say equal to 10, let's say. So now it will execute till 10 because I have given one more condition that even if it is I equal to 10, this whole condition becomes true, right? So while looks for the final outcome of these conditions, but either it is true or false. At 11 only this condition becomes false. That is where loop was stopped. And same way we have seen continue, right? Continue and break. Let's take same example now. I less than, let's say 10. When it is, okay, when I is, let's say odd number. That means my remainder becomes 1, right? For odd. When I divide by 2, remainder becomes 1. That is what I'm checking here. I don't want to do anything. Just go to next loop. Skip to next item, right? If the condition is failing, I'll just print it. So if I execute now, array, again same problem. I didn't increase the I value. I plus 1. We got only 0. Why? Okay. Our y is 0. 0 less than is true. 0 by equal to I plus 1. So why there is the problem. I equal to 0, 10. 0 plus 1, I am adding 1. 1 divided by 2. Okay. Now I understood the problem. You understood what happened. So when
0
it is,
divided by t infinite, right?
so
The
reason is,
first condition itself infinite.
it is just always stuck in here only. It is not going below. That is why it is failing. So maybe I can just keep in the front for simplicity, then avoid this. Now you see, when it is 2, right? This condition becomes false. So it is printing. When it is 1, the remainder becomes 1 and it is encountering this continue method and loop is continuing to next value. That is why we can use continue. So now let's break. So break and while are the combination used in real time much. Now when you want to break, let's say I want to break if I equal to 5. I don't need, okay, let it be. If you break, see 1, 2, 3, 4. When it is 5, the loop is broke. So how the break is also useful in real time, right? That we have seen in first class. You can keep directly true. So whatever we gets out of this is true or false, right? So you can directly keep here while true, and you do certain operation. Okay, uh, print I, whatever, same thing, I equal to I plus 1. Then it is infinite loop as per this, right? So somewhere you have to break, otherwise this loop will never end. That is where the break is required. Suppose if you are taking a value from user, right? Let's take user, enter, uh, let's say your age. This is what we want from the user, right? Age equal to. Now we should check if age is digit, right? Uh, let's say we are just printing it, printing age, right? So which means user has entered the correct age now. So I don't want to execute the loop anymore. Break it. Now let's execute. Enter your age. I'm entering AS, 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 AS until I enter number, right? It will not stop because it's an infinite loop. As I enter 12, the loop is stopped. That is how this while infinite loop and break really helps. Okay, that's about while
What
loop.
is the break point for?
Break will break entire loop. It will
No,
just
no, break point is
break.
also there.
There is no break point in loops. This is something else. It's not related to loops.
Okay.
Yeah. You remember that command, right? Help breakpoint
బ్రేక్ పాయింట్ అంటే డిబగ్ అప్పుడు వర్క్ అవుతుంది కదా.
enter. నాకు యాక్చువల్గా గుర్తులేదు. ఓకే, కరెక్ట్, యు ఆర్ రైట్. Calls this breakpoint whatever arguments are passed. By default, this drops you into the PDB debugger. This PDB is Python debugger. Like that is used in Python debugging. Actually, PyCharm comes with very good debugging functionality. So in real time, though, we don't use this PDB. Just PyCharm will does a very good job. We will show. I mean, I'll show in next classes. We have separate class for debugging. Okay. So now,
So
hmm, Rishiram, go ahead.
సో ఓన్లీ ఫర్ లూప్‌కే ఆటో ఇంక్రిమెంట్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద అదర్
No,
లూప్స్ వి హావ్ టు గివ్
no,
ఔట్ ద ఇంక్రిమెంట్.
no auto increment in for also, right? It was never auto incremented. It is just iterating through a list or iterating through a tuple. It goes
బట్
over each item at a time.
అంటే ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవుతుంది కదా! ఇప్పుడు
Mm,
లిస్ట్‌లో ఒక ఐటెమ్ నుంచి ఇంకొక ఐటెమ్‌కి
hmm.
వెళ్ళడానికి ఇటరేట్ అవుతుంది కదా అది.
You can say that also, but in C, Java and all, we use I++, all those stuff,
అవును. అవును. అవును.
where you need to specify that, okay, increment this I value to the next
హ్మ్.
index.
హ్మ్.
But in the for loop, yes, it is automatically happening.
హ్మ్.
So nested, we have seen for inside for, right? So we can do while inside for inside while. All these combinations are allowed. Um, let's say some list we have. For v in wedge, right? Um, while v dot is alpha, which means only letters are there. Okay, you will just say um, valid. No, we don't need while actually. We can use if. I'm just trying to print whether this is a valid item or not. We can have something like this also, right? That is what I was thinking, but we don't need while here. Just if will do. You see, all valid. Three times we got valid because these three are valid. These two are not valid.
ఈజ్ ఆల్ఫా ఏంటండి?
Sorry,
ఈజ్ ఆల్ఫా అంటే
only
దేనికి?
alphabets. Only alphabets
ఓ
ఉండాలి.
ఆల్ఫాబెట్స్. ఓకే. ఓకే.
ABC ఉన్నదనుకోండి సపోజ్. సో ఓన్లీ ఫస్ట్ త్రీకి మాత్రమే వ్యాలిడ్ వచ్చింది, రిమైనింగ్ టూకి ఇన్వాలిడ్. మనం యాక్చువల్గా ఎల్స్ అని పెట్టచ్చు. So but you understood of how while and for works, right? I'm not able to think a case where I need to use both. Okay, I'll maybe come up with in next class where we use both together. I didn't think of it, and I'm not able to think now what use case we have. Mm, okay, now let's say mm, we have some names. Okay, like this. Okay, let us keep our names for now quickly. So now we have names. What is our task? We just have to collect age, let's say, for each candidate, right? So for name in names, now we need to display the name and ask user, okay, enter your age. Let's say this is output. I'm just keeping a dictionary. Um, age, input, enter, name age. So as they enter, what we do in the output, I'm just taking it out. Now let's print output. So this is what we have. So enter Sharate is 12. Okay, 34. Please don't take it seriously.
నా ఏజ్ కరెక్ట్‌గానే రాసావు.
Mona.
యాహ్!
Sorry, very
ఏదో
garu.
కరెక్ట్.
By mistake 67 రాసా.
శ్రీకాంత్ వాళ్ళ బాబు చేశారు, నాది మా ఫాదర్ చేశారు.
కీబోర్డ్ లో ఏది దొరుకుతుంది ఓకే సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి వి గాట్ ఫర్ ఈచ్ నేమ్ ఏజ్ ఓకే సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఏ happy case. Let's go with the worst case. Okay, now I am entering is okay. It is taking everything, right? Dr, ft. So this is not a correct thing. We should somehow restrict user, right? To not to enter anything. So what we can do? The same thing we can write here. While true, right? Then only you break it. Now if you execute, right? If I put this, it how come? And sorry, I didn't.
మీరు ట్రూ అన్నారు కానీ
Yes, yes, correct.
చెప్పలేదు కదా ఏంటో.
If condition రాయాలి మనం మర్చిపోయా. If condition if age dot age is it, then only we will add and this. Otherwise, we'll put else print invalid enter. Now is invalid. It will keep asking. Right? That's how we can actually control everything. So this is how we can make use of both. That's about while loop.